Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Matt and John Make a Podcast. This is episode 69, and we have some good topics to talk about. We had the Mike Tyson, Jones Jr. fight card last week. Another Mandalorian episode last Friday, because we're always a week behind. And got some more streaming news about movies and HBO Max that just came out today as of this recording on the 3rd. But we're going to lead off like we always do with the NFL in Week 12, basically a week of football
You
with
told me.
with everything going on with the Steelers and the Ravens and the postponements of the game. Let's just go off of that game since that is the freshest that happened yesterday with the Steelers scraping by the Ravens 19-14 in a game that was pretty much encapsulated 2020 as a whole.
Yeah,
One of the metaphor that was a football game.
like literally this whole entire week has just been a giant pain in our asses. Like and how that game happened and transpired. I was just glad to just get the win and just get that freaking thing over with. I don't care how ugly that it was. It just we got the win. And we played a terrible game. And if you heard Coach Tomlin after that game, he was cutting.
It was the best thing.
Oh, he was cutting a heel promo on all of his guys. Man, just perfectly blunt. To say it kindly, Matt. Just said we played terrible, and he is not wrong. Just whether it was whether it was our wide receivers developing COVID from like catching passes. So that was so there was that. Let's see. How about us being down in the red zone, what, 3 or 4 times, and
4 times.
you're and
One,
j-
one
just
for four.
and 1 for 4, just and if we did not have, and if like Ray did not fumble that freaking punt return, you can make the argument we should have probably been up 28-0 at halftime. Like the only reason why this game was even close was because of the stupidity and just the basic mental errors that this team was making. And even Ben too, he wasn't very happy either. So, but that being said, Matt, a win is definitely a like win.
A win is a win is a win is a win is a
It
win
is,
is a
but
win is a win is a win is a win.
unfortunately, we did have some tragic news. Our
Somebody died.
yeah, Dupree, he did tear his ACL and he's out for the season. In which I would think this is probably his final game as a Steeler, barring him just taking a like bargain basement deal from us on the free agent market. I don't see him coming back with us for next season. So it just really sucks. It really sucks for him specifically, just because he had, I think, 8.5 sacks. Him and TJ were by far the best outside linebacking tandem in the league, and I believe that they both combined for at least half of the team's total sacks on top of that. So we're going to really find out, Matt, how ready is Alex Highsmith, who we took in the third round from Charlotte. who in short spurts has played pretty well, but now obviously he's going to be getting
Yeah.
a more significant role within this defense. So I'm going to be interested to see how he handles it. If he can be anywhere near
Like
what we were
half.
getting, half of them, bud, I would gladly take that. But compared to what we lost in Heaven Bush, I'm not as concerned just because since we have TJ on the other side, but definitely still a huge loss nonetheless. I'm trying to think of any other specific things. Oh, and by far one of the most funniest things was at the end uh, of the the half. and, and basically the Ravens are on the 1 yard line and they fall short, and so the clock is ticking and ticking, and the Steelers are just laying on Baltimore. And I'm saying
They
to
they
my
fell asleep.
and they fell asleep, and somehow Baltimore just finally gets off a play there, and Luke Wilson has it, and then he just drops it. So they get 0 points, and all you see is John Harbaugh just bitching up a freaking storm, and it was hilarious. I just could not believe how badly that they botched that whole thing
Hmm.
at the end there, because to me that was a huge missed opportunity, because pretty much outside of a like Hollywood Brown 74 yard touchdown, they were never even close to 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 scoring in the second half. And actually um RG3, he got taken out midway through through the fourth quarter there, and that was pretty much it. But as we said, Matt, a win is definitely a win here. And we are now 11-0,
Ooh.
and now we clinch the AFC North with a like victory and a Cleveland loss against the Tennessee Titans, which is very possible. I would even say very likely, honestly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, the chances are
yeah, high.
good.
Yeah, so I think regardless, we should have the AFC North wrapped up within a like week or so here. So everything as far as that is said, and I'm stoned now. But the big question is, can this team win enough games to secure home field? Which that's going to be tough, because honestly, man, I think it's going to take us going 16-0 or 15-1 at the very worst, to try and get that. Because just looking at Kansas City's rest of their schedule, it's not as hard, because to me, because because when we looked at their schedule a few weeks ago, we're like, oh, like, hey, there's a game here and a game there, but now it's like, I mean, there it would not surprise me if hey,
They
like,
go
one
fit.
out here. Yeah,
Yeah,
go
they
15.
played the Saints
Yeah,
the week of Christmas, or the
yeah,
I don't know, the 20th. That is your best chance
yeah.
for the Chiefs to lose. They
And
play the Dolphins the week before,
yeah,
and that's not a
a
easy
given.
game for the Chiefs. But I think those are your 2 weeks that could happen, because then they play the Broncos, or they play in order. Next week they play the Broncos, the Dolphins, the Saints, then the Falcons, and then the Chargers. And those last two are at home.
Yeah.
The Saints and the Dolphins, or at their away games for the Chiefs. Um, I mean, in COVID era, does it really matter? Um, but
I think like more so it's just trying to secure a like first round bye just because his team has been essentially on work the whole entire season. Because when they had their bye, it wasn't exactly a bye since they were kind of practicing a week that week. So for their sake, I'm hoping that they get this just to get some rest. But it's not going to be easy at all.
no. But let's say we are flip flopped 1 and 2 right now, and we would be playing the 7th seed, which right now is Indianapolis.
Mhm.
And we do play them later in the season,
Yeah,
so that's a good
week 16. Mhm.
yeah a
Honestly,
indicator.
I I really like us like our chances against them. It's just like Phil Rivers. He does not scare me at all. I mean, obviously compared to a like Patrick Mahomes or someone else in the AFC. But like so if we did face them, I would feel pretty good. I mean, still nervous as hell, but I would feel pretty damn good.
Yeah. Yeah, we got the Washington football team, which I mean, if you look stat wise, is a closer game on paper, but the Steelers should win that. One would think.
Yeah.
We're expected to win, and we have the Bills at Buffalo, which that's the measuring stick,
Mhm.
or the eye test for this team. Let's say if they are 12-0, they beat Washington. Um, how they're performing against that will uh, kind of show people, okay, is this is this perfect team legit? And there's always that talk, and there's always that talk with somebody's going perfect or undefeated. Um, you always get that. And
It,
somehow Pittsburgh is a slight favorite in that game. 2 weeks minus 2.5 points favorite on the road against the Bills as of now.
yeah, I feel like that's definitely is going to change. But I tell you, man, like it's hilarious to me. People are reaching so bad to say this is the worst 11-0 team I've ever seen. Like that, like because apparently that's supposed to be a form of criticism when you're now undefeated. It's just hilarious to me. With some of these people who are trying to say, oh, we haven't played anybody yet. If you look at Kansas City's schedule, their schedule is pretty much right on par with ours, and you don't hear a peep of anybody when it comes for
Because
them.
they lost.
Exactly. It's just like it's
It's,
ridiculous.
it's perception.
It's I mean because I guarantee you, if our quarterback was either Tom Brady, was either like Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson, um, anyone else there, they would be riding our freaking like you know what, um, from now until the freaking cows came home. But it just proves yet again there is a media bias against like Ben. It's just it's there. It's never going away. And you know what? Oh well. We shall embrace the the
The hate.
the the hate. Embrace our top heel role here. And you know what? We'll see what happens, but definitely I'm very interested to see how this team reacts now because as we go on week by like week here, it's going to be getting harder and harder. So, um, some other games here as well. Man, Matt, Thanksgiving was a complete shit show. I mean, like these games were not
Oh,
good.
yeah.
I mean, like we we had the Houston Texans beating the Detroit Lions pretty handily 41-25, and the Dallas Cowboys showed up. That's all about I could say. They dropped against the Washington football team at home 41-16.
Yeah,
Yikes.
I
Yikes.
I didn't finish watching that game, and I remember.
It's my
Whoa! Ad on the website here.
moment 'cause I gotta
Stop!
for the time's
Stop!
gone.
Stop!
Ain't scared of the
Stop!
dark
You
'cause
can't
I'm
hear it, but I hear it. Well, that might be a copyright strike. Like ad on the IGN article about the HBO Max, and even though you can't hear it, I'm using your desktop audio, so oh, that was annoying. Well, my apologies, but anyways, I don't know if I took a nap or whatever during that game, and I remember waking up and it was relatively close when I watched it, and look, it was like 41-16. I went, Jesus.
Yeah, basically, in the second half, Dallas just threw in the towel. It just like ugh. I just I don't understand how bad this team is this bad against the Washington football team. And now, at that time, Washington they were in like first place until the New York Giants defeated the Cincinnati Bengals 19-17. They are now in first place in the NFC least because the Philadelphia Eagles lost against the Seattle Seahawks on like Monday Night Football. Not entirely surprising there, but the NFC East, I think the team with like 6 wins possibly wins this thing, man, because it just seems like that if they play outside of the NFC East, they aren't winning. I mean, outside of like Cincinnati giving these teams a win here, it's
Yeah,
like
in their conference, division conference, the Giants are 3-2, and their conference 3-6. So there's your three conference wins. Washington's 3-2 in the division, conference 3-5. Philadelphia's 2-2 in the division. They're 3-4 in the conference. They won one game out of the division, and Dallas. See, this is just messed up. They're 1-3 in division, but 3-6 in the conference. They won 2 more games outside of the division, but they're in last place. It's division games, and I I don't know what to say about this division.
yeah,
That's
it's
already been said.
it's bad. We'll just leave it at that.
The
But
Giants on the 3-game winning streak. Washington 2-game winning streak. Giants are in first place with a minus 39 point differential.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
4-7. It could be a three. We could literally, again with the tie, it literally could be a three-way tie for first place in that division.
That would be hilarious if that happens.
Literally the worst division, but the most competitive division.
Yeah, probably not the most popular thing to say right now, but
But
yeah.
tell
but
me
it's-
I am. Tell me
I know.
I am wrong on competitive, because everybody
Yeah.
has a chance to win that division. Everybody has a shot at the playoffs. They're having a home home playoff game. It is competitive because everybody's within.
When you are that
One
bad,
game.
you really are that bad. So, but other games, we saw King Henry, Derrick Henry just run all over the Indianapolis Colts, and this thing wasn't even close, man. 45-2, 26 there. Tennessee, they are now in like first place in the AFC South right now, and barring any sort of craziness, I do expect that they will win the AFC South, and they would be the like number 3 seed right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. So
yeah, the three.
So there was that. We saw the Vikings barely scrape out a come from a come from behind win over the Carolina Panthers 28-27, and Cleveland barely scrapes by a very bad Jacksonville Jaguars team 27-25. And I gotta say, man, I thought for a little bit there that Jacksonville was going to hold on, but the but Cleveland makes a few good plays and they hold on to win, and they are now
They were 2 points away from going to overtime.
yeah, exactly. And but now they are clearly in second place right now, and I believe they're are they like 5 seed right now, right?
I want to say yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
basically, be and as we look at the AFC playoff picture right now, I would say they are definitely in the driver's seat. And to me, if they beat Baltimore, Baltimore is essentially done. Then I because between Cleveland, Indianapolis, like Miami, and
Las
pro,
Vegas.
and probably Vegas,
Because
those
Vegas is ahead of them
yeah,
based on conference game percentage.
right. And to me, if they like pretty much Baltimore needs to find a way and like win out, because if they don't, I think they're pretty much are gonna be out of it, because they don't have a tiebreaker. Well, well, Tennessee, but obviously Tennessee is going to be um leading the AFC South there, but like they are definitely running out of time right now, so
And
they
they
need
have
to
New England on their tails.
yeah,
New
exactly.
England gets some wins. New England has the tiebreaker head to head.
Exactly
And
too.
yeah.
Yeah, because if they keep on winning games here, man, I mean it's going to get really close, and you just gotta wonder how this team will in fact react if they were to somehow miss going in the postseason. So definitely going to be interesting to see when it comes for that. Trying to see some other games here. Yeah, and speaking of those Patriots, they pulled out a very tight game over the Arizona Cardinals, a
Yep.
very tough loss for the Arizona Cardinals, and they have now lost two really hard games against the Seattle Seahawks, and now with the Patriots. And as we look at the NFC side, Matt, and they're sitting at 6-5 right now, which I mean, so right now the division leaders are Seattle, Green Bay, um, New Orleans, yeah, and whoever is in the NFC East there, and you figure that your playoff teams right now are definitely Tampa and and the LA Rams. So basically, for that third for that third for that 7 seed, you have teams such as Arizona, Minnesota is and Chicago are technically in it still. I would keep an eye on the San Francisco 49ers, because if they can somehow pick the Buffalo Bills this week, Matt, their schedule gets pretty interesting to where if they went out, I mean they would be 10 and I'm 6 there. So definitely a team I would keep an eye on. But to me, Matt, the NFC isn't as crazy as the AFC right now. We pretty much know which teams are going to like be there at the very end, except for maybe what the 7 seed there. So
Yeah.
so like, what do you think?
Yeah, you pretty much know your top three of New Orleans, Seattle, and Green Bay. That can fluctuate Obviously, whoever the NFC East comes
Yeah.
out, that garbage. Excuse me. The Rams will be there. You have Tampa Bay that can 5 and 6 that can go back and forth, and then Arizona. You would think they will be in it, but you have Minnesota. You never know how. Like to me, Arizona is just inconsistent. Either just losing those close games. If Minnesota gets just a couple wins in there, it's all there. And then
Yeah.
San Francisco, who know? I mean, they're
Yeah.
hurt, but they're not out of it.
No.
The Bears,
Especially if they somehow,
been-
especially if they somehow win against the Buffalo Bills, like that'll get pretty interesting there.
yeah, Bears. You would assume they started hot but are tailing off.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad team there. Pretty.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's several other teams 4-7, but they're pretty much out of it because so many people ahead of them. But you pretty much know. AFC there's still some drama there. It's usually the last 3 seeds on each are pretty much. At least the last 3 seeds in NFC are up in the air, you can say. AFC to a lesser extent, but there's still some teams battling, but it still doesn't look good. But
Yeah. All right, and some other games here. Like Vegas Raiders just laid a freaking egg against the Atlanta Falcons. This thing wasn't even close. Like they just a complete blowout. 43-6. They're just a very hard loss for them to take there. And the poor Denver Broncos team, who the NFL was fine in rescheduling the Baltimore and Pittsburgh game on 3 separate occasions, but
yes,
for the Denver team, nope. You have to play with no active quarterbacks, and the quarterback who they did have, I believe, completed one of like 9 passes, and that was it. And the 31-3 pounding as the Saints take care of the Denver Broncos.
one for 9 for 13 yards and 2 interceptions.
What a hard loss for the LA Rams, Matt, and a really big one for the San Francisco 49ers. For whatever reason, Matt, San Francisco seems to be LA's kryptonite right now. Just a very hard loss there against a very battered, a very injured 49ers team. So that could possibly have some implications towards the end there. And obviously the game that was probably most hyped was the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And really this game wasn't exactly close, even though it became close at the very end. I mean, Matt, with that like first quarter, like I think it was like they were that Kansas City was up like 3 scores or something on Tampa.
It was 17-0.
Yeah, so
after 22-7 at halftime.
Yeah, and and Tyreek Hill had himself a freaking game. Like he had over 200 yards in the first quarter alone, which is insane. And now Tampa Bay falls 2-7-5, and obviously the Kansas City Chiefs are now sitting at 10-1 as the 2 seed in the AFC, as the Pittsburgh Steelers are still at the 1 spot at 11-0. And yeah, and we mentioned earlier that the Seattle Seahawks defeated the Eagles, and they are currently are currently locked in for the NFC Western. So that was week 12 now, and a very interesting set of games. We're going to be finding more and more out as we head in into like into week 13, which that is hard to believe already, man. We're getting
Yes.
closer and closer towards the end here, so it will be
And before you know it, yeah.
very interesting to say the least. How this all goes down, and some really interesting news that came right before we recorded here was something going on with HBO Max and like Warner Brothers, right?
Yes. We news broke that, and we pulled up on my phone so I don't get no ads again, jerks. I where did I? Hang on, give me a second. So here we go. So Warner Brothers. We talked about this before with Wonder Woman 2 weeks ago. About on Christmas Day they're bringing that movie to HBO Max at the same time as theaters, with no extra charge for HBO Max subscribers to watch it. So like Christmas literally at like 4 o'clock in the morning probably. You would assume maybe at 3 o'clock Eastern, midnight Pacific, that will get uploaded. So literally before Santa arrives, or just after Santa arrives, if you will,
Yeah.
you can watch that. You can watch that. You can watch the movie, and you don't have to. Well, nobody probably will. Or not a lot of people go to the movies to see it. I mean, we talked about how this is going to work out for theaters and all this stuff, but today Warner Brothers announced that all its films, 17, in next year, 2021, will be released in theaters, and at the same day released on HBO Max for a 1 month exclusive window there. So it's not going to be all there, but for that first month, you can be home and watch their movies, which include Dune. I think I've said that right. Dune, The Matrix 4,
Yeah, I
The
can't wait for
Suicide
that
Squad,
one. Yeah, man.
Mortal Kombat at the same on HBO Max. Again, and with no extra cost to HBO Max subscribers. The full list, and they're going to be released on HBO Max in full 4K Ultra HD in HDR. And then once that 1 month is up on HBO Max, the movies obviously still be in the theaters in the United States and internationally, with all customary distribution windows applying to the title. So what you have, where's the list here? So use the movie The Little Things, January 29th. Tom and Jerry, March 5th. The Many Saints of Newark, March 12th. Reminiscent, whatever, April 16th. Godzilla vs. Kong, May 21st. That's another big one. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, June 4th. In the Heights, June 18th. Space Jam, A New Legacy, July 16th. Suicide Squad, August 6th. Dune, October 1st. King Richard, November 19th. Matrix 4, December 22nd. Cry Macho, to be determined. Malignant, to be determined. Those Who Wish Me Dead, TBD. Mortal Kombat, TBD. And Judas and the Black Messiah, TBD. So those all the ones that are coming straight to HBO Max in theaters. So
Yeah.
that's interesting.
once they announce Wonder Woman, or once they announce Wonder Woman, that to me was kind of them just like slightly opening and cracking that like door there. And now they're just like, nope, we're just going to release everything. And definitely with the whole pandemic has definitely, I felt, influenced this for sure.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be a permanent thing, but definitely
Mhm.
for next year, and we'll see what anybody else does. Um,
And you know for a fact that with HBO Max, their subscriptions are going to be going way up with this. And as I've said, Matt, I think other platforms are going to be doing something similar with this. So I would not be surprised whatsoever if we
um,
see some MCU films coming on the Disney Plus app there.
and concurrently with theater release, I guess Universal, which is NBC Universal, I believe,
Mhm.
wouldn't be surprised if they pushed to Peacock.
Yeah.
What else there? So Disney. I'm trying to think of the movie. So Universal. So that'd be Peacock. Warner Brothers, obviously with HBO. And there's no other. There's no other. Well, the DC ones are Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman. Uh,
Well,
Obviously
and two
Marvel.
with HBO
And
as
yeah,
well. They're gonna be coming with those comic with those comic shows as well. I don't think in 2021, but I think after that they're gonna be having a lot more content on there. And man, they're definitely are taking a big step forward and being one of the actual first like major franchises to say, hey, we're gonna take this chance and see what happens, sort of thing.
yeah.
And if it's really successful, and I said movie theaters, man, I mean they I'm not saying that it's going to be anytime soon, but I tell you, this
Next
definitely, yeah.
next year is going to be hurting because
Mhm.
some of those, maybe 3 to 4 of those movies listed,
Mhm.
are big. Big. There's maybe other ones that I'm missing or I forget what they're about,
Right.
but like there's a couple that are like legit summer blockbusters,
Mhm.
like pulling in the dough. Like
Yeah.
made the Matrix, if it's made well, it should be at least nostalgia. I don't know why I can't say the word, but you get what I'm trying to say. Should
Nostalgia.
yeah, this is not hooked on phonics, John. Um,
You are almost as bad as my sister in saying cinnamon. Like she's like cinnamon,
I don't know why I can't
cinnamon,
say the word. Usually I
cinnamon.
can't. Usually I can't say it. But anyways, this besides the point. Should pull in stuff. Suicide Squad. It's everybody likes superhero movies.
John
Um,
Cena.
yeah, John Cena effect. What else is there? What am I missing? Whatever. I could probably. But you get
Like
you
Matrix
catch.
4.
I already
Matrix
said
4.
that.
Well, okay.
Godzilla. Well, Godzilla and Kong. That's a big one.
My dad, he will love. He loves Godzilla films, so he'll definitely
And
be
now,
happy about that.
yeah, Godzilla and Kong and
Yeah.
Space Jam. Uh, Depending how that does.
Yeah.
But sure, like those and Tom and Jerry, if that's the for kids or
Mhm.
adults who, you know, that's a throwback.
Yep.
But so yeah, so
It is
that
for
should
me.
be interesting.
It is for me.
Um,
That's for sure.
yeah, and I can watch it, and I don't have to pay for pay extra, and that's a big thing. Disney movies do this. they already charge extra from Mulan. Do they charge extra, or do they want? Like that's the thing. If
I
HBO is
mean, if you
free,
were HBO, I mean, that would be the smart thing to do. But all indications are nope. They're just gonna
let's say nope,
just as long
no
as
extra cost.
no extra cost. I'm like, that's gonna entice a lot of people to just subscribe to the
Because I'm
HBO.
curious
Yeah.
what their numbers. I'm curious. Oh, what's up?
Hell, if they have a like a Mandalorian effect in that, I mean, like that's gonna be a game changer right there, you know.
I'm trying.
And
I want to see what their subscriber count is.
yeah,
Um,
because I know Disney, I think is around 71 million or something like that.
let's see here. HBO Max. Okay, the new bringing the total number of. Okay, apparently 38 million total. This was as of the Verge article, October 22nd. That in the earnings report there, 8.6 million customers have activated their subscriptions in the third quarter. So I would assume that's higher in the fourth because of Wonder Woman. Um, Wait, what? They may not all be paid. So this article said 28.7 million, but I guess that's not including. Um, let's see. Do, 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 do. Well, I'm not, I can't even read, but there's over around 30 million subscribers for
Mhm.
HBO Max. Disney Plus. Real quick. Yep, 73 subscribers. Million subscribers. That's as of November 12th from this article. And just since I mentioned it, if Universal does something, Peacock. As of October 14th, around 15. So, and that's just right behind Hulu, 27.2. Wait, that can't be right. Why does it say Disney Plus at 37 million? That's not right.
Yeah, that's not right.
Uh,
They're at the very least at like 60 from the
yeah,
from their
yeah.
last earnings call. They were at 60 million.
What I gotta look at this. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Maybe the Google little blurb on Google is was wrong, obviously, or produced wrong. Come on, I don't want to join for. Oh, what the? I hate. Okay, this article is stupid. I don't want to. I have to sign up to read the article. Oh, screw you then. You just lost. So about September 15th, here's a Forbes article. Since launching in late July 2020, 15 million subscribers. So, yeah, there you go. HBO can only account for plus. So, how would I say how much HBO Max was?
38 something.
Okay, so as of this article, it's saying HBO Max, however, can only account for approximately 4 million subscribers. So it was
Yeah.
behind Peacock. So this was, what's this article as of September 15th? So they got up. Everybody's slowly going up, but that was kind of curious to me. But the thing is, if Peacock puts anything out, they'll go up. But HBO definitely is going up.
Yeah.
when you
they're
get the
they're
earning reports in the beginning
yeah,
of next year.
2021 is going to be a very important year for them, as they're trying to kind of get more of a like leg up um, in this year, and I'm very interested to see what kind of a business effect that this has, because if it's extremely positive, you got to think, man, movie theaters, as I said, um,
They're gonna
could cause a
struggle.
problem. Yeah, they absolutely. So, but I can tell you one thing, Matt, that isn't struggling, and that is the Mandalorian. My God, and this is what, Matt, episode 6, right, of season 2,
Five.
or or 5. Okay, so episode 5 of the Mandalorian. Needless to say, Matt, a lot of shit happened here. um,
You're
um,
not kidding.
like how I even woke up and everyone on Twitter was just going nuts, and it got so bad. I'm like, well, I can't even go on
I
social right now.
Yeah, I literally was going to I wanted, because I was up already because vacation, and I was just binge watching another show, and it was like 3 in the morning, and I was like, you know what, the hell, let me watch it, and I already knew there was a possibility of Ahsoka Tano appearing because leaks of the title being the Jedi,
Yeah.
and so I was excited. And within the first 30 seconds, they didn't even wait.
Nope.
It was just, oh, there's a Sakatano
This
beating
was
people. I was like, well, damn.
this was probably my favorite episode of the series. I mean, probably outside of the pilot and maybe another episode in season 1, but man, this just
I thought last week, the previous one, chapter 12, when they went to the base and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Thought that was good.
That was good, but man, this this just went a whole different level, because it's involving more of the actual Jedi. Hell, baby Yoda has
Grogu.
a Grogu
Grogu Gaga.
has a name now. So we found that out. We found out more about like his or her backstory, as far as
I think it's it.
it's whatever.
Yeah.
So we kind of find out like more about it, and like we find out that basically that that she isn't being willing to like train Grogu because it possesses too much fear, and she saw what happened with Anakin, and he became Vader, and she didn't want to influence into create another Vader, because as we saw, Matt, Grogu is extremely attached like Mando, like pretty much anything that like it does, he's involved with, because as far as just doing a little bit of training, he has to be a catalyst for that there. So now they are going to be going to a like Jedi temple. I think it was right.
It was on Tylo, something like that, with a T.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, there definitely are going to be running into some obstacles on the way there, but man, this just add a whole bunch of like layers here, and like, how much of the like Jedi do we see? And I'll let you talk about the rebels side of this.
Yes, I think
I haven't watched that.
I don't know if like tomorrow or the next episode, or actually, well, yesterday, tomorrow as we watch this, if we see a Jedi, if we see somebody at the temple, if it's just, if they get there, And I don't know, but the thing is, everybody's speculating. Oh, is Luke Skywalker going to be? Is this character from the video games going to be in there? I don't think so. I think it's going to be Ezra Bridger, who, with Grand Admiral Thrawn, disappeared at the end of Rebels. I think he eventually makes an appearance. Does Thrawn appear this season with 3 episodes to go? We don't know, because Tano is looking for him. I'm curious to see how many, if she appears in the season anymore. If just like a taste, and maybe next season she will be more. I don't know. We still got Boba Fett yet to make another appearance besides that teaser in the first episode. It's going to be interesting. The reported time for this episode is around 32 minutes of runtime, so this could be a relatively quick episode.
Yeah.
But we'll see how much they stuff into this episode. Right. I don't know if we get a Jedi appearance or some new another character.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
And how
I'm just curious how this works. Yeah.
And we still have the whole Boba Fett thing on top of that, so it's just like the season finale, I think, is just going to floor a ton of people, and just like
there's
gotta wait.
Like story articles of them saying it's going to be like a roller coaster ride these last 3 episodes.
Oh yeah. And I tell you, like,
it's
season
just
2
suck. It's only eight episodes per season.
Yeah. But man, like,
it's a good or bad thing.
It's like it's amazing right now. Like when this show first dropped, like I had, like, low expectations. Just because we didn't exactly know what it was going to be all about.
Right.
And man, it freaking boomed. Like,
it is
amazing.
It's weird because I saw somebody say this on Twitter or whatever, that this is one of the few shows that have lately that have really became pop culture for a lot of people, and everybody, like every Friday it's something, and it was really something. It was when Baby Yoda, Grugo now, when that was revealed within like the second episode,
memes
or whatever, first ever, that took off like wildfire. Like, I'm just something you couldn't believe. And this is pretty much was a call it a Game of Thrones type of show, where every week, that's what Twitter was talking about. Yeah. Even though I never really got into Game of Thrones. Yeah, I know I'm a communist here. But all those big shows, never really got into it. But this, everybody like knows Baby Yoda, or the child, Grogu. Like, it's really taken off, and
a life of its own right there. Yeah, for sure.
Yep. So, I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, the weakest episode was the second one, and it was still good, but like compared to the rest of them, like holy crap, like so much
It's ass
lore.
kicked. Yeah.
Right. I got his ass kicked. I mean, maybe it was a necessary break, but in this lane, backstory there, that's what that episode was. But like, I don't know how. And I say this every week. I don't know how this next episode can just beat the amount of stuff that happened in this one, but who knows? I mean, they could surprise. They could surprise us because it's like the little things. Even though we had rumors of Ahsoka Tano and Boba Fett, they throw in Easter eggs. They throw in Grand Admiral Thrawn, who is for most people, a beloved villain in the Rebel series, and so he's name dropped, so you know he's coming. Everybody's just is Luke Skywalker going to be that? No, it's not. He's not going to. I doubt he's not going to be the Jedi. They have the Rebels thing with mentioned. They'll probably bring Ezra Bridger back in because he's got the Force. And they got all that, so they can bring all that. They have so many like characters from like the Clone Wars and Rebels that haven't really been in live action or haven't been explored really outside of the animated series, maybe minus books or other non-canon things, which now when they come in obviously are going to be canon because obviously this is canon, this show. But I just love the connection to everything, to the backstory. Ahsoka mentioning, without mentioning by name, and you mentioned this before, Anakin and the training, and she was his Padawan, and so there's a lot of backstory between those two there. Again, in Clone Wars and Rebels, Tano has a lot of involvement with a lot of stuff that hasn't been really explored. Like, she is a major figure in Star Wars canon, but you haven't seen her in a movie. And between like a lot of crap happened in the time between episode 2 and episode 3, and she wasn't, because the Clone Wars just started at the end of episode 2, and then she went away before episode 3 took place. So that was with the animated series. Clone Wars happened, and then a lot of crap happened after 3 leading into 4 with the Rebels. So a lot of stuff she happened in the background that if you don't, like, you haven't watched the animated series, this a whole ton of crap, which I'm glad this is fleshing it out to, I think, more of the masses, that if you didn't watch Cartoon Network or whatever, I think it was on Cartoon Network, Clone Wars was on, and Rebels, I think that was Disney, whatever, that I think that was a lot of story that maybe not a lot of people really have watched, and then, which I didn't know, that I'm glad I went back and watched it with Disney Plus, because I would have been lost beyond, like, without like Googling it and reading, I would have been more lost than I already am. So I think I'm appreciative of Dave Filoni being on this. Is great. He should run Lucasfilms if Kathleen Kennedy is in fact stepping down. With
I get that one thing. There's going to be a giant push for that.
Yeah, like, he just listened to him talk, and I think I said this last week during that Mandalorian like documentary series, like behind the scenes stuff on Disney Plus over the summer, I believe, or spring, whatever, earlier this year. You could just tell just how knowledgeable and how serious he takes this. And I mean, he helped produce and even direct and write stuff, the Clone Wars and like the Rebels. Like that's his baby basically, and he was basically
Well, like,
kind of the right hand man of George Lucas
and
himself.
supposedly, that he didn't want any part of the last trilogy. Which, if that's the case, I'm like, man, like, I feel like if he was the one who was actually directing those films, then we probably would have gotten a different.
If not directing, at the very least producing and or writing. If he wrote them, I believe he would have. I don't know how much he has known or knowledge of Lucas's idea for the sequel trilogy, but I think that he would have had there would have been more continuity that plagued 7 and 8 and 9. I think it would have been better if you keep the same director, but you had Filoni on as a producer, consultant, or he wrote, what have you. I think that would have been better. Obviously, I mean, some are good, but it's just the story wise, I think, really hurt the sequels. But it is what it is. They are what they are. Like, you can't go back in time and change them. It's the story that's put out there. I think it would do more damage. People are like, oh, that they're going to redo them, or they're just good. I feel like that would hurt it more. Going back and like, no. Like, it is what it is. But with the Mandalorian, providing all this backstory and extra story, filling in the gaps between 6 and 7, and leading obviously to the First Order, to the backstory there, because 7 it was just like, okay, the Empire is back, but under a new name, a new commander, somebody in charge, a new bad guy in charge of a other bad guy, and really wasn't a backstory there, so yeah, at least this fills it out and fleshes the story out. So even like the Snoke thing, we assume in those tanks it was Snoke, or early attempt at recreating Palpatine or a Snoke. So there's backstory there. So it's very, very interesting, and I'm very appreciative of the attempt of, linking 6 and 7 and everything underneath that together. So for that, this is, as a Star Wars fan, we should be very extremely happy that this is happening, and it's well done.
Yep,
that's that. Thank you for attending my TED Talk.
Speaking of something that was well done, Matt, the tremendous event that we saw last weekend between Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr., where Matt was literally pitching the whole entire time during this whole entire show, like why is there so many concerts on this show? Why is this show happening? Why did I pay $50 for this? Right?
Yes. Yeah, I was at a I watched I watched a concert, and suddenly boxing broke out. Some of I got to the point of maybe my Snoop Dogg of we got to the point of the I'm an adult, and is this what the kids are listening to these days moment of my early adulthood, with whatever those two rappers were. They said, I think it was recorded. It was in the,
I didn't really
know
pre-show.
it was, I forget his name.
I knew Obviously, Wiz
Wiz.
and Wiz,
Yeah,
who
Wiz. Yeah.
we knew. Think like I think like Neo was
He
on.
sang national anthem, which was
Okay, okay, he was
pretty
there.
good. I didn't
Um,
mind that.
yeah, but
Um,
honestly though, I had a lot of fun watching this. I just feel like a
it
lot
was
of
fun, but it was
I feel like a lot of people thought this was going to be a like actual like just a strictly a sport thing. I was expecting more of um sports entertainment sort of thing. Like I did not take this seriously, and that's why I think I enjoyed so much. Hell, man, like just with the
I
freaking Nate versus Jake Paul fight, which that was a tremendous shit show, which I fully expected what was going to happen.
more news came out of that than the main
And
event.
my God, Snoop Dogg on commentary was freaking hilarious. I laughed.
French Montana, that's the rapper's name.
Yeah, French Montana. Like I
Yep.
laughed so hard just when when Jake um um when Jake I'm like I'm knocked down Nate on one of the balls, and then Snoop just starts singing randomly, and I'm like, why is he
He,
singing?
you had Morrow like call it seriously or try to call it
Is he?
seriously,
Is he
and
too? Yeah. Is he
and
too?
then you had just Snoop Dogg just talking over him in the background. He was like, "This is like two uncles fighting at a family reunion."
It just,
Like,
it was just so funny how like he was coming off, and I was like, like he was the MVP of the night for me. So like,
I
I love that, and
I
like, and, oh yeah, yeah, go
I
ahead,
kind
man.
of wished. I knew, okay, the Jake Paul whatever thing,
Yeah,
that was like, I know a lot of people I know like wanted a serious thing and kind of had the two like undercard matches to start off were serious. They were a thing, and you had Jake Paul in, which people were torn with him, and I damn it you two for making him a thing. Um,
yeah. I
and he
had
like
a
knocked
good
out.
laugh. I had a good laugh when he tried calling out Connor
Yeah, I went. Yeah, and then apparently he records music too. Um,
Yeah, I'm just
we're
like
all doomed.
I'm just like, first of all, Dana, he would never allow that to happen. Second of all, Connor, he would literally KO him inside 30 seconds. Like it's he like people who were even remotely comparing this to him versus Floyd, like just no. Like Connor was actually a legit fighter who has fought his whole entire life. Like Jake Paul has been boxing, I think, for like maybe 3 years. Like, yeah, he's had some good training. He's 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 serious about the sport, and I can completely respect that there.
Yeah, but he's apparently his record's like the 2-0 now.
Yeah, exactly. If he wants to actually be serious, he needs to start to fight actual boxers, like
That's like
not
us saying,
celebrities.
yeah, that's like us saying that we have a better podcast than Joe Rogan.
Exactly. It's just like
Um,
I
yeah,
like I'm just. I mean, I admire the kid's confidence, but if you're Connor, like you're not even entertaining this.
no.
Just piss off sort of thing. And like hell, I mean, like he just annihilated Nate, and it just showed like to anyone who's even thinking about getting into the combat sports game, boxing and MMA is not a game. Like it is a very tough sport, a very dedicated sport that you have to be all in on. And just because you are a great athlete does not mean a damn thing when you are in a fight. Because Matt, as we saw him, Nate, he would just like rush in every single time, and every single time Jake would either sidestep him or hit him, and then like just he kept on doing the same thing over and over again, and like he's fighting on the streets there, and Jake being a trained fighter, like he's going to annihilate you, and that is what he did. Like just the difference between someone who's actually trained and someone who just got into the sport here. And
Yeah.
I'm hoping that any of these debates, because I can't tell you, Matt, how many debates I've seen. Well, how would LeBron James do in MMA or something? And I say this every single time, he would get killed. Like, I don't care what his size is, how athletic he is. Like, there's a difference between being an athlete and being a fighter. They're two completely different things.
Oh, so you know how I was in the poll with Tyson and on DraftKings, and they created a draw. Well,
Right.
apparently they fixed. I just looked now out of curiosity, and they asked, one of the question was who would win. They gave everybody was right, and everybody, you could pick anyone, you got it right, and the winning method, all four, either Tyson with decision or finish, or Roy Jones Jr. same thing. No matter what you picked, you won.
Yeah. Well,
So-
and speaking of that fight, to me, Matt, that was a pretty lopsided fight in my opinion.
Yes, it was
Like
all Tyson.
Tyson, he dominated. Like,
Yes.
and you could just tell Roy was out of shape, whereas Tyson, he looked in pretty good shape for this thing.
Yep.
And those body shots that Tyson was just landing on like Roy, like it was hurting him. Like hell, I think it was by like rounds 2 or 3, and Roy Jones was already gassed. Hell, Tyson, he wasn't doing as hard either, but he was at least trying to actually win the fight.
I swear to God,
Yeah.
Mike Tyson had the first punch, but apparently not. Apparently, Roy Jones Jr. threw the first punch, which I don't understand. But finally, on this poll, I won money because I got 7 out of 8. You know how much money I won?
$5,
No.
10,
No.
$1,
You go too high. No.
$3.
3 cents. 3 cents, baby.
What a shit show! But
And, I could have. That cost me, pretty much $3 there for not because first place or tie for first. I don't know how this broke down was $3.03. Because so many people got 8 out 8 right
but
because
yeah,
it was so easy.
yeah, and Tyson, like he seems like a guy who wants to continue to fight here. Whereas like Roy, he seems like that he's pretty much done at this point. And like it just like I mean, like I had a fun time watching this, but I could definitely see why a lot of people weren't crazy about it. But I was more interested to see how many pay-per-view buy rates that this was going to do. Matt, do you want to take a stab at how many people bought this show here?
2 million,
Nope, lower.
1.2.
Yep, on the dot right there, buddy. 1.2 million, and supposedly, according to the Observer, that they need at least 600,000 buys to like break even, which I would say that was definitely a success. Honestly, I thought that they were going to do around 600 or 650,000 buys right there, but hell,
I was thinking definitely. I was assuming around 1 million because it's Tyson.
yeah, like there was definitely a curiosity for sure, and hell, like that thing was socially active on Saturday night. Like a lot of people were talking about it, and man, there were so many basketball players and celebrities, and man, the freaking memes on poor Nate. Like I was like, oh my god, like
That was the best.
they were
the best thing to come out of it.
ruthless. I'm like, Jesus Christ, like it just
I saw one with pictures of him laying down next to all the Toy Story toys, and the caption was, when Andy walks into the room or whatever. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
that was
just
a good
like
one.
I'm just like,
Then
and yeah,
the
I was
Lion
like,
King one, Simba.
it's just I'm like, damn guys, like just ruthless. But yeah, a really fun show. I'm interested to see what else Tyson is going to do. Like, there's been talk about him versus Evander Holyfield. I'm not sure if I would buy that, but
I think I still would,
yeah.
just for
So
just for the memes.
for Snoop Dogg, for
Oh,
Snoop
if he's
Dogg,
on there, yes.
yeah,
If he's on there, yes.
absolutely. But
Everybody. Oh God.
But yeah, so Matt, I think that's pretty much everything for this week. Did you have anything else that you want to discuss here?
No, I don't think so. No,
Okay, all
I
right.
think I'm
Well,
good. Yeah.
I'll let you close it out here then.
Why? Thank you.
For the nicest podcast that we've ever had.
I was going to try to get through that without saying that, but yes, it was a nice.
I wasn't
it was a
gonna.
nice.
I wasn't gonna let you get away with that, there, buddy.
Yeah, it was a nice podcast. It was really nice. I was going to try to do it casually, but
No,
forget that.
just lay it all out there.
Yeah. Anywho, this was episode 69. No comment. Okay. Here. Thanks for watching, commenting, subscribing, all that fun stuff. Since I am recording this in the past and talking in the future, thanks everybody for watching the wrestling live stream.
Which that was
yesterday.
that was a loaded show, guys. We thank you all for tuning in. And yeah, pretty much
a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
yes.
a lot to talk about. The unfortunate passing of like Pat Patterson, everything that happened on like Dynamite, NXT, and also previewing NXT War Games. Hey Matt, are we going to be planning on doing a like live stream?
I don't know, aren't we?
Yep. I'm down if you were, if you were,
down.
buddy.
That's what she said. Yes. See, you don't like it. Oh, you like it now.
So
yes,
you guys.
So that's coming tomorrow night. Sunday nights. So yeah. Again, thanks for watching. This was 69. We got 70 next week, which is probably talking about this week's Mandalorian that happened yesterday. That NFL again. Excuse me. I think week 13. And then anything else that happens to be out there in the next week. So with that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.